Brooks and Taylor Dahl.
This is Helmets and Heels
on 1010XL.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
Truly and utterly a tradition unlike any other. Welcome into Helmets and Heels on this, the 20th of June. It's a feel-good Friday here on 1010XL, and boy, oh boy, Taylor Dahl, are we feeling good about our lineup here today. Tell the folks what friends of the program are going to be joining us.
Yeah, so all of our best friends that want to just chat anything we want to chat are coming on the show today, but obviously Luke Hetrick from WSB TV up in Atlanta, he's going to be joining us. All sorts of stuff. We'll talk about that Desmond Bain to Orlando trade. We'll talk about some Braves. They just swept the Mets, so are they on the up? Or is that 10 they're 10 games out still, but do they feel like things are flipping a little bit? Also, I do want to talk a little bit of Falcons because I do think that roster may not be talked about enough. So I am interested to kind of think about that or hear about what they think about it and the Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins situation. So there's a lot of interesting storylines we're getting out of that. And then I guess we'll talk about your wedding a little bit too, because I think we have some notes and advice needed.
Which we won't throw Luke under the bus, but I'm also like looking at the clock a little bit there on him. Shout out Carly. We love Carly. No, he suggested to me yesterday, he's like, let's live workshop what needs to be included in the wedding. Our good friend who's also joined us here on Helmets and Heels before, John Alba, already asked me if we were going to have matching football jerseys. And the answer is yes, Kevin and I will at some point in time. But yeah, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to workshop that. We're going to keep the NBA conversation going at 1 o'clock. A new friend for Taylor and I, Kristen Peak.
Super excited about that.
Hoops HQ is going to join us to preview the NBA draft. Where will Walter Clayton go? As well as look back at the NBA finals. And then,
go Pacers.
Yeah, we're going to get into that as well here in our opening segment. But then, we know why many of you will be tuning in the 1 o'clock hour.
Yeah, the Cole Thompson, SEC Unfiltered. He also obviously works out there covering the Houston Texans too. So mainly we want to chat the SEC. You and I, Mia, have had a lot of conversations in our office about different SEC storylines. I know on our show we've touched upon some of them, but there's a lot of interesting ones coming out of this with the quarterbacks in the SEC, with the possible rankings of the SEC, with how the format of the college playoff may look with the SEC and Big Ten. Maybe we'll talk some Diego Pavia. Maybe we'll talk about some Lenora Sellers and some of those fun things. And then also, I'm sure we'll get into some of the Houston Texans storylines because that's going to be probably one of the biggest conversations is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans for the AFC South.
So if you're looking for college football talk, if you're looking for the NBA, if you're looking for baseball, we've got a little bit of everything for everyone here on today's episode of Helmets and Heels. But first, RJ.
16 points, throws it away. Halliburton comes up with it. Cross court, Siakam for the slam. It's deafening in here. A 20-point lead.
For the first time since 2016, the NBA Finals are headed to a Game 7. Final score, Indiana Pacers 108, Oklahoma City Thunder 91. Yes, I have checked in with a certain 1010XL basketball analyst, not named RJ Saunders, punching the air because Tyrese Halliburton did indeed play. Only had 14 points, not necessarily superstar numbers, Taylor Dahl, but he guts it out. The Pacers gutted out. And by gutting it out, I mean they led by 30 at the end of the third quarter. This one from wire to wire was all Indiana. And I thought the commentary from Richard Jefferson, Doris Burke, especially in that first half, was interesting because Richard Jefferson point blank said, it looks like the Thunder are playing. And I believe Stephen A. Smith echoed this during the halftime show as well. The Oklahoma City Thunder last night looked like they were playing knowing they had a Game 7.
Yeah.
And we
have another shot.
Is that the best mentality?
I don't think so, especially with what the Pacers have done this entire postseason when it comes to being able to come back. And last night was the epitome of what the Pacers are when it comes to being able to spread out scoring. When Pascal had 16, Nesmith had 10. We had Nembhard 17. Halliburton had 14. McConnell had 12. Toppin had 20. So and that's what we've talked about is the depth there. And so if they're able to figure that out, and those are the games they win, are the ones when you're seeing that kind of even scoring through everybody. And I do think that what we've seen from TJ McConnell coming in, I know he only had 12 last night, but he played 24 minutes. And so I do think that kind of having this now guy that also has turned on late in this series has helped them a lot. And you have another guy that can score when you need him to score. But RJ, I wanted to ask you, were you surprised at all that Tyrese Halliburton played 23 minutes?
A tad bit, just due to the fact that Indiana really didn't attack him. There were sequences in which they could have. They elected not to most of the time. I don't know if I would have done always a 1-4 flat as I was talking about yesterday, but I really would have put him in a lot of pick and roll situations, and it does seem that Indiana was trying to alleviate that and get him out of those pick and roll situations where he would have to switch, and then you're going into a one-on-one situation. If it were me, I would have tried to figure out how good is that calf, honestly. And I think just him getting into the game, the excitement that was there, the adrenaline that's rushing, you forget all about that calf injury in which you have. So, I mean, great play by the Pacers. They certainly played with their lives on the line. Oklahoma City saying, hey, listen, we got 2 cracks at the bat with this. And normally the stats say after we lose a game, especially after a double-digit loss and the way in which we had it, we normally come out and play the next game rather well, and we're going to be at home for a game that's for all the marbles. So I really feel like it was a missed opportunity for the Oklahoma City Thunder, but, I mean, surprise, yes and no, just by the way the game was being played and the energy that was there. I think Tyrese Halliburton understood he needed to be out there for his squad. So surprised, but not surprised at the same time, just from how we saw the game being played by both Oklahoma City and Indiana.
He also knew that he couldn't watch Love Island until he took care of his calf strain, as he told reporters afterwards. He and his girlfriend made sure that, hey, you can only turn Love Island on after you've put something on your calf. That's a T-shirt waiting to happen. RJ, as far as the Thunder go, concerns now heading into Game 7 with Indiana certainly having all the momentum heading into that final game of the series?
No, because no team's really had any sort of momentum going into the next game of either one of these teams going into the next game. Normally, how it's been is the team that wins Game 5 normally goes on to win the series. However, there have been 3 teams that have been down in the series 3-2 and have come back to win the NBA Finals. So I don't know if anyone has any sort of momentum or if anyone has any sort of advantage. This has really been a game-by-game series, and I think that's really what's made it exciting for the diehard basketball fan. If you're a casual watching this, even though this isn't a big market team such as New York, Philly, LA, I do believe that you're witnessing some very good basketball between both teams. So advantage, I don't think there's any advantage. I think there's just going to be 48 minutes on the clock going into Sunday. Let the best man win, let the best team win, and I think the story for either one of these teams that win, I think it's a great storyline going into next season.
Have you noticed that the games that OKC have won, SGA has scored 30. The games they've lost, he has not. So I feel like, is that a must do?
That's the magic number. Interesting.
Yeah,
that's a threshold.
30 plus in the games they've won.
I had not seen that threshold, but that's certainly going to be a storyline we can ask Kristen Peak about coming up at 1 o'clock from Hoops HQ. We do want to note that the Oklahoma City Thunder, the spread has ballooned here in the last 2-3 hours or so. 8-point favorites for Sunday's Game 7. They were 6-point favorites heading into last night's game in Indianapolis. But now for something completely different.
To the left of the formation. Watson's pressure. Bookends collapse. And he's brought down. Josh Hines Allen.
So you may have seen star edge rusher Josh Hines Allen's tweet, post, whatever they're calling it on the Bird Machine on X these days, Taylor Dahl. We will read, if you haven't seen it, his tweet in full from last night, which I know several folks were like, where is this coming from? Not making the top 10 from my draft class is wild to me. I've never been handed anything, always had to earn every inch and still get misunderstood. That's all right. Let's keep proving people wrong, just like always. This is in reference to Fox Sports' top 10 players from the 2019 draft class. Yes, your favorite NFL players read tweets too. They look at these rankings that we compile here in the media world in the offseason.
Do you know who was all on the list?
Yes. Yep. Nick Bosa was number 1. Max Crosby, number 2. A.J. Brown, number 3. And then at least my personal beef with this ranking comes at number 4 with Kyler Murray, who went number 1 overall, if you remember, in that 2019 draft. There's an argument to be made, and I've heard several of our contemporaries here on the Superstation say it today. Kyler Murray has underperformed to the same extent that many believe Trevor Lawrence has underperformed in his first 4 years in the National Football League. So I was surprised to see him, A, even in the top 10, B, that high.
Yeah, that one, I personally have never really been the biggest Kyler Murray fan, and I know he's had years that people kind of look at as good years, but to me, these are his numbers. Let's go through Kyler Murray's numbers. Number one, and I'm big on the QB record is not a quarterback stat. The win-loss record is not a quarterback stat. But they went 5-10. He went 5-10, 8-8, 9-5, 3-8, 3-5, 8-9. There's other factors into win-loss, but that's part of this. And then 3,700 yards, 3,900 yards, 37, 2,300, 1,700. A lot of injuries, by the way. That's another thing that they probably should throw in this. And then 3,800. So never hit that 4,000 mark. His touchdown to interception ratio, 20-12, 26-12, 24-10, 14-7, 10-5, 21-11. And that's one of your favorite picks from that year?
I mean, it wasn't Daniel Jones. It could have been worse. He was probably the best quarterback that was selected in that.
I mean, Daniel Jones' stats might be better than that on paper, honestly.
We're going to have to dive deeper
because they're the same as Trevor's, technically.
Right, and that's why I make the Trevor comp, because that's what, when I look at Kyler Murray and I look at the tantalizing talent that he was coming into the National Football League, and yes, much like Trevor Lawrence, you can say he's had multiple head coaches, he's had multiple OCs, he has had injuries. But I wouldn't put Trevor Lawrence necessarily, especially in his draft class, which was absolutely loaded, in the top 10, or at the very least in the top 5 of the 2021 draft class. So that's why I look at this class and I say, even if it wasn't as loaded, I'm surprised to see Kyler on that list.
It is, looking at that draft, that was a really good first-round draft,
21
actually.
or 2019?
2019.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously we said Kyler Murray went first, but then it was Nick Bosa, Quinnen Williams, Devin White went that draft, Josh Hines Allen, TJ Hawkinson went that draft, Rashawn Gary went that draft, Christian Wilkins went that draft, Dexter Lawrence, Jeffrey Simmons, Darnell Savage went that draft, Josh Jacobs, Montez Sweat. There's that first round was a pretty good draft, actually.
A couple of those names do make an appearance on this top 10 ranking. Again, it's from foxsports.com.
Yeah. Did they put all first rounders? It's just the first.
Nope.
Okay.
It can be from at any point in that draft. I believe, though, for the most part, it's mostly first rounders.
Okay.
Quinnen Williams is not in that top 10, which I think is absolutely appalling.
The best,
here is the rest of the top.
Because A.J. Brown was a second rounder.
Here is the rest of the top 10 after Kyler Murray at 4, Dexter Lawrence at 5, Jeffrey Simmons at 6. No issue with either of those.
Was DK on there?
We'll get to him. We will get to him. Josh Jacobs at 7. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
DK at 8.
Okay.
Terry McLaurin at 9. Underrated player until he finally got a quarterback and was saved last year. Chris Lindstrom at 10. The guard for the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe we have to ask Luke Hetrick about this at 12:30. Underrated player to be certain.
Yeah.
But he was also a first-round pick. And while, yes, the Falcons got good value, I mean, you just rattled off some of the other names that went in that first round that have had an impact in their first 6-7 years in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely, and that's why it's kind of fun to go back and look at some of the, CJ Gardner-Johnson went that year in the 4th round. Crosby was a 4th rounder. So it's always fun to go back and look at how some of these things shook out when you start going, especially deep into the drafts, because there's some names up and like still in the 5th round. You're going through names that are still in the league that you're talking about, which is kind of crazy.
Right.
But Josh Hines Allen should be on that list.
Josh should be on that list. I think Quinnen Williams should be on that list. Who else do you think should be in that top 10 ranking from the 2019 NFL draft class? Hit us up on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures, throughout the duration of the program, 904-641-1010, as well as the YouTube studio chat line. I only see Robert in there right now. Come on, boys. We know you guys have something to say, and you will especially have something to say about what we have in store next. The Terminex Pest of the Day coming up here on a Feel Good Friday, F is for Friendship Friday edition of Helmets and Heels.
I'm Paul Posluszny, and you're listening to the best Jaguars coverage in Jacksonville on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Lee and Kate's Glass, Friday. Guaranteed greatness since 1926.
Florida heat hitting like a heavyweight? Time to call in the champ. KO Electric and HVAC. We knock out the heat and power up your comfort. Fast, reliable, and undefeated in home service. KOElectricJacks.com. KOElectricJacks.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
Jacksonville, Florida. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
Hey, Jacksonville, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. It's the little things like a peach milkshake on a warm day that make summer sweet. And now you can head to your local Chick-fil-A and enjoy a favorite summer treat again. Hand-spun in the old-fashioned way, this refreshing milkshake features Chick-fil-A ice cream and peaches. It's the perfect cold treat to enjoy outside on a warm day or with your friends and family after dinner. And it's here for a limited time, so swing by your local Chick-fil-A and treat yourself today.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here. Summer heat is on the rise, but don't sweat it. Big Chief Tire has your back with $50 off all AC services. Whether your system needs a quick recharge or a full repair, their expert team will keep you cool and road ready all season long. With 5 locations across Jacksonville, trusted service is always nearby. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your AC service. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rollin'.
What Major League Baseball teams have never won a World Series?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours, Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 5 Major League Baseball teams that have never won a World Series: Colorado, Milwaukee, San Diego, Seattle, and Tampa Bay.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
During the NFL offseason, 1010XL keeps the information engine turning.
There we go. More.
Roll through the offseason with AA Automotive on Richard Street. Family run since 1954.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Hey, Hicken here for my friends at Zero Res. They want to help you clean your home or business. Big summer savings with 3 rooms clean starting at $129 and 20% off your air duct cleaning. Call them 904-287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special.
Maxed out on credit card, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Wow! I feel good.
It's a feel-good Friday.
We're going to have a good time together.
And that would be good.
So good.
Text or tweet something that makes you feel good today.
I hear good things. Really good things.
Cheers to the freaking weekend. Drinks it up. Yeah. Oh, let the demo sun sink in. Drinks it up. Yeah. Don't let them get you down. Turn it around with another round. There's a party at the bar. Everybody put your glasses up and I drink
We would love to hear what's making you feel good. Taylor Dahl has something that will be making some folks out there feel good, but some might interpret it as the pest of the day.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that this one probably, when we say makes you feel good, it will make you laugh, maybe. It'll make you giggle that maybe it's a person that we don't have to deal with here in Jacksonville right now. And so if you have not heard, a new hit has dropped in the music scene, Mia.
New mixtape just dropped. New album.
If you have not seen or heard, Anthony Richardson now has a rap song that has dropped, and it's very interesting. He compares himself to Drew Brees at one point in the song. A lot of other interesting parts in this. Some of this you need to bleep. So RJ, hit it.
Say that's the mission, I'm writing until our plats get bigger.
The gang talking to me sounding like some activists. Talk to them every day, they tell me that I'm talented. If I cry after I lose, that mean I'm crashing it. Shout out to Speed, paved the way for all this rap. Trying to turn it up, yeah, I'm on go mode. Never turn my back on my brother, yeah, that's the bro code. Cruising in my whip, the light going slow-mo. Got love in my city, when they see me, they want a photo. As a youngin', I ain't never eat no peas. On the field, I'm a saint. I be throwing like Drew Brees. Worry about no trouble, I ain't gotta worry about no pleading for the gang. I'm 10.
Okay. So first of all, he said never turn his back on his brother. Like, you tapped out of a game because you were tired, my guy.
He also is in go mode. No, AR has not really been in go mode for much of his tenure in the National Football League. Was there something about green peas in there?
Yeah,
Did I hear that right?
I don't know. I was trying to. There was a lot to take in at that. But yeah, the Drew Brees part. If you go back and look at the video posted on X, the comments will not disappoint you, just to let everybody know, especially with that one line of somebody was like, he could, like, you would, if Drew Brees was blind, then you would be throwing.
Here's the thing, like, I encourage players, whether they're in college, in the pros, I encourage you to have other interests. Like, I'm here for it, but given the fact that Anthony Richardson grew up in Gainesville, has spent a lot of time here in Jacksonville, both as a pro and his time in college while he was in high school, like, I've gotten to know him a little bit. And when you see him, this is not someone who you expect to be an aspiring rapper.
Because he's also, like, kind of shy and quiet.
Yes,
that's kind of the around him. That's the gist you get, or kind of the feeling you get from an Anthony Richardson. So it was interesting, but I mean, I don't mind people having their side things that they enjoy. Yeah. And we've seen many athletes go through and have songs and podcasts and other things. That's fine. It's just very interesting. And also, I'm genuinely curious of how Colts fans feel, because it's just been this, obviously a weird situation there with being not playing very well, but also injuries. And now you just in camp had another injury, and they say is okay and doesn't need surgery, but there's a lot of other things probably that people are like, can we focus on maybe some of these other things right now? And we talked about it here on that last day of OTA when they asked Trevor, and he was pretty much like, I'm going to be throwing a lot with a lot of these guys. That's what I want to do. There's still things I need to work on. But could you imagine if Trevor just dropped like a rap today?
That's the comp. I will say this. It's making me feel good, because as much as AR may be, fighting some injuries right now. He's got, enough energy and health to drop a single, drop a new hit single on this Feel Good Friday. So you're not a pest of the day, Anthony Richardson. You are a Feel Good Friday for certain. Be sure to hit us up with what is making you feel good on this fine Friday on Helmets and Heels. From 601 off the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Feeling good. The Brewers beat the Cubs yesterday.
I know. I was just writing that guy back. I was like, feeling good that the Cubs still are number one in the National League. So
that's what my response was to the Red Sox fans up at Fenway last week when the Yankees were unfortunately swept. But hey, listen, they got off the schneid. The Mets, not so much. Luke Hetrick will talk about the Braves-Mets series here in just a little bit. But first, let's actually hear what today's Pest of the Day is, brought to you by Terminex. Here is Lauren Brooks.
Now, Lauren's Terminex Pest of the Day.
Time now for the Terminix Pests of the Day. That's right, multiple pests today. You can find Terminix online at terminix.com. They do such a great job at our house, as well as taking care of Everbank Stadium, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. They came out yesterday and sprayed for mosquitoes in our front yard and our backyard. Also took care of any pest issues that we may have, ants, cockroaches, wasps. They do it all. If you have termite issues, you definitely want to contact our friends at Terminix. Well, today the two pests are the guys that were caught speeding. Zach Eady and Shadur Sanders, both caught going over 100 miles per hour. Guys, please be smart. Nothing good happens when you're going that fast, and keep your speeds down. Keep everybody safe. You don't want to have any sort of repeated issues with this. Certainly the reckless driving does not look good. So make sure that you drive safely, gentlemen.
Yeah, some of the memes coming out of the Shadur ones, though, was hilarious.
We're not encouraging reckless driving.
I am not. But people go, I am a grandma driver. I'll just start with that. So I go the speed limit, but like 5 over the speed limit is my max because I'm just scared of everybody around me. People fly out there and just JTB, they're going 95. But I do think, not encouraging that, but a couple of the memes coming out of that, there were two that I was cracking up at. One of them was because the whole thing on draft day when Mel Kiper just kept talking about Shadur and like when, he should I can't believe this is happening, that the league's against him and da-da-da. So they said Browns rookie quarterback Shadur Sanders was cited by police Tuesday morning for driving 101, according to police records. And then so someone commented saying, you just can't coach that type of speed. And then it was Mel Kiper, and like quotes. And then the other one said, that's nothing. A couple months ago, he went 144 when he was supposed to be going 25.
Now that's a good one. That's a good one. I wonder how this impacts ESPN Cleveland's tracker. I wonder if they're going to include this in their
tally mark.
Yes, exactly. Does he get a tally? Does he not? I'm not going to lie. My instant reaction was I had heard about the first citation, and when Adam Schefter sent out the report yesterday that it had actually been 2 citations in the last month or so, like I yelled to Kevin. I was like, Shadur got arrested again? And he's like, well, evidently he already had been arrested, or at least had been cited twice in the last month. It just came
so this
to
is
light.
The third?
No. This is the second.
Oh, okay.
The first one we heard about.
Okay.
But then when Schefter tweeted out yesterday that it was 2, gotcha. I was like, I was not expecting.
You were thinking 2 more.
I thought it was just the 1.
Oh, totally.
And so even then, the fact that there were 2 citations in a month, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. Yikes. Zach Eady's from Canada. I'm kind of surprised. He seems like the type of guy who follows the rules.
Goes the speed limit.
Yeah, like he played for Matt Painter. They played the game the right way at Purdue. Like, I was a little surprised. Maybe, I don't know, like something's
How fast did it say he was going? Over 102, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing so. I didn't even see that he had been, that he had been cited for going over the speed limit. Also, I wonder where it was. So he was officially charged with reckless driving, more than 100 miles per hour. He was back in Indiana, where Purdue University, of course, is located. This was after an Indiana state trooper saw him speeding through Tippecanoe County, which is the county that Purdue resides in. 101 and a 55. He told the officer that he was trying to pass a vehicle once he was pulled over, but offered no other explanation. Due back in court next week. Not what you want to be spending your summer break
definitely
doing.
not.
I would rather be spending my summer break talking to Luke Hetrick, Cole Thompson, Kristen Peak, the wonderful lineup of guests that we have lined up for you here on this Feel Good Friday on Helmets and Heels. Be sure to keep the text line popping off the YouTube chat with your comments, your questions, your Feel Good Friday thoughts. This is Helmets and Heels on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Adding sizzle to your summer. 1010XL. Your summer station. That's hot. It's a Helmets and Heels. Lee and Kate's Glass, Friday.
Tired of a plain and boring backyard? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop choice to beautify your home. With pavers, stonework, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, pergolas, and driveways. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Hello, all you Jacksonville sports fans. Don here from Taco Lou. If you're in the mood for some great tacos, cold Dos Equis, maybe even a sip of some fine tequila, then the Lou is calling your name. Come out to Jack's Beach and experience what many have dubbed the #1 taco in the 904. There are plenty of great taco joints in town, and we're proud to have been around for this long, and we have only you, the fine people of Jacksonville, to thank for helping us grow and become who we are today. Cheers to you, Jacksonville, and thank you from the Lou crew. Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach.
The joys of home ownership. Until the plumbing backs up, the AC goes out, or your septic system decides to act up. The good news? You don't have to call 3 different companies when things go wrong. Just call my friends at Duck Duck Rooter. They're your one-stop shop for plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. Give them a ring at 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. One call does it all.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece. Premium flooring. Take our advice. Home business, affordable price. Driveways, pool decks, garage doors, beautiful patios, and more to explore. Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
It's a battle for the playoffs as your Sharks take on the first place Steamwheelers. Catch all the action this Saturday, June 21st at 7. Discover the thrill of indoor football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Try the new 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. Come cheer on the Sharks as they circle a playoff bid. It's Star Wars night presented by HCA Florida Healthcare. Dress up in your favorite costume. Get photos with your favorite Star Wars characters before the game. The first 1,000 kids get a free lightsaber. Join us on the field after the game for a free autograph session and special jersey auction. Tickets start at just $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made. Go Sharks!
Leon Searcy here. There's a little bit less of the big fella right now, thanks to physician-guided weight loss. I'm down 15 pounds in just 2 months. Already feeling better than I have in years. And with no side effects using their GLP-1 prescription. Gotta admit, it's pretty easy. And right now, you can get the first month at just $90 with a visit, the meds, and the 3D body scan. Don't wait to bring sexy back. Get started now with physician-guided weight loss at pgweightloss.com.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On June 20th, 1993, the Chicago Bulls became the first team since the Celtics of the 60s to win 3 straight titles after they beat the Phoenix Suns in 6.
You got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, visit my buddy Dr. McGowan at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. You have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits, even if you're at fault. And no matter what you hear, you have the right to choose your own doctor. So I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Their auto experts will guide you in every step of the way to ensure the care that you need. Your recovery starts with McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians, ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Lying towards left center field. Pico Armstrong. Oh, baby. What a catch.
It is a feel-good Friday. It is a friendship Friday here on Helmets and Heels. Our first of three friends of the program joining us now, Luke Hetrick of WSB TV up in Atlanta. And when I extended the invite, Taylor Doll, for Luke to join us on this feel-good Friday, he said he was excited to speak with you about one player in particular. The floor is yours, Mr. Hetrick. How are you?
Thank you for being a friend. I don't know if anyone knows the song. Does anyone know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's from the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
making
That
sure.
would be a highly disappointment.
Well, look, we've kind of passed that our generation.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure it's good to know that we got some old souls here and some old friendships rekindling. And look, Taylor, do you prefer Taylor or Mrs. Crow Armstrong? What do you go by?
Whatever you would like to call me.
Well, look, you're leading the charge on the PDA for PCA. So,
PDA for
73
PCA.
games.
I like that one.
Yeah, look, 73 games, fastest to 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases in Cubs history. I mean,
yeah, it's
look,
wild.
It's hard for me to stomach this. It's hard for me to say this. As a Pirates fan, I got to give the guy respect, but he torments me.
Yeah, it's insane. Obviously, we just played the 2 games against the Brewers, and I have a couple friends that are diehard Brewers fans, and they were all texting me, and they're like, we hate him already. This is going to be a long hopefully the Cubs find something, because they haven't been known to re-sign the people or give the big extensions, and he's definitely going to need it. But to that point, though, this is a crazy stat. So players with 20-plus home runs, 20-plus stolen bases, and 60-plus RBIs before the All-Star game. PCA this year. Last year was Shohei Ohtani in 2024. The year before, Fernando Tatis in 2021. Jose Ramirez in 2018. Matt Kemp in 2011. Like Alex Rodriguez in 1998. Barry Bonds in 1996. It's a pretty good list of names that he's sitting by when it comes
So he is literally the second coming of my Lord and Savior, Alex Emmanuel Rodriguez. I love to hear that. We'll stay on baseball, Luke, because we've got a whole lot of ground. We've already told the Heeligans that we've got a lot of topics we've got to cover with you in a short amount of time. But let's stay with baseball. We really were surprised that our friends on the drill this morning, or at least from when Taylor and I were listening here on 1010XL, they did not dive nearly as deep into the Atlanta Braves New York Mets series as we anticipated. You, of course, are covering the Bravos up there in the ATL. Jeff Prosser declared that the Braves were the worst team in baseball and the end was near. Even last week when Brian Snitker was named to the All-Star game as one of the coaches, both J.J. LaSelva and one Jeff Prosser were just over the top, panicked. Tell our Braves fans here in Jacksonville, FLA, Luke, should they be panicked about the Atlanta Braves?
No, and I think with Brian Snitker getting named on staff for the All-Star game, that was a mix of the respect that they have for him and the job that he's done and what he's meant to baseball, being affiliated with the Braves organization in some fashion since 1977, and the All-Star game being in Atlanta. It was certainly a nice tribute for him. There was conversations a few weeks back when they had lost 14-17. They had a 7-game losing streak, the second one of the season, the only second one of Brian Snitker's tenure as manager. There were some conversations about And the conversations surrounding Brian Snicker's job status, I think, were a little bit foolish because it's natural when your team's losing to fire your manager. But Brian Snicker's not the one at the plate. Brian Snicker's not the one in the bullpen. But it was really the hitting that has gone downhill. And there have been some personnel changes that have been made on staff over the last couple of years that a lot of people attribute to a decline after that historic 2023 season where they were on pace for the most home runs in a single season. Ronald Acuna Jr. wins MVP. And then you saw the dip, and they haven't quite been able to shake out of that. So there was conversations of, were they going to be more sellers at the deadline, and was this the time? But you have those 2 games in Milwaukee. You get back on track. You have a get-right series against Colorado. And let's face it, the Mets are the best team in the National League, but not the last week. And the Braves have won the season series against the Metropolitans 7 consecutive years. They have their number. They have gotten right now. Do they sustain it and they continue this? I don't know. But at this point, it seems like they've weathered the storm and have given fans some hope because we know when this lineup can get going, and that's the question, if it does, but when it can, it is really dangerous.
Yeah, Luke, and I think the big conversation for a while was just the bats. It felt like with runners in scoring position, they weren't able to get anything done, and that really kind of flipped in this Mets series. So is that a glimpse of, or was that just kind of a one-off, or do you feel like you're expecting that they've found themselves at the plate a little bit?
I think they found themselves at the plate. I don't think this is going to be 2023, but when the bats were struggling, the one thing that they could hang their hat on is defensively, the statistics and the measurables suggested this was still a very good baseball team. It was just the bats, but what we also have to look at, too, Ronald Acuna Jr. and his return has been...
You could end at that, Luke. Just Ronald Acuna Jr. returned.
Ronald Acuna Jr. returns. He's been fantastic. You've seen Marcell Ozuna have an uptick. Michael Harris, who had an anemic start to the season, I believe it was after 60 games, he was one of the players in Major League Baseball that OPS was sub 600, and it was a real struggle for him. He's gotten it together. So it just took a little bit of time, and I'm not expecting this offense to be top 5 in baseball, but I'm expecting it to be more than competent to aid strong starting pitching. But where they have to address it is the bullpen. They've had too many bullpen issues lately in the season and really throughout the year. But what's kind of hit it of late has been really strong starting pitching from Strider, from Spencer Schwellenbach, from Chris Sale. Grant Holmes has 15 strikeouts Sunday against Colorado. Yeah, it's Colorado, but he still has 15. So you're able to get great starting pitching production. You figure out the bullpen. You get your bats just to a level where they can be competent and competitive. And now you're talking about a team that no one really wants to see in the playoffs.
Luke Hetrick of WSB TV up in Atlanta is our guest on the Checkmate Coatings hotline. Let's stay in the ATL. Luke, you also covered the Atlanta Falcons. And as Taylor alluded to in our opening segment, one of the perhaps more underrated storylines, I think it's still not getting nearly enough play, even if it is a talking point. Kirk Cousins is still a member of the Atlanta Falcons. He was at mandatory minicamp. He was a participant in OTAs, even though this job is all but assuredly Michael Penix Jr.'s. Tell me this. What is the dynamic amongst the locker room just heading into this season with the Atlanta Falcons, knowing that the quarterback situation could obviously change, but it's also pretty much like a guarantee at this point?
Oh, it's Michael Penix Jr.'s job. I mean, there's no question. They've been emphatic about that. They were emphatic about it last year when they made that switch post-Week 15 after that Monday night game against the Raiders. I mean, Raheem Morris did not say Michael Penix Jr. is going to start against the Giants. He said Michael Penix Jr. will be our starting quarterback moving forward, and that has been they backed it up. That's been understood, and Kirk Cousins understood that, and through everything that they've gone through. I think what is significant about what Kirk did was everything was happening away from the field. He did not bring it into the locker room. He took it outside. He dealt with Arthur Blank. He worked with his agent. He's worked with the team to try and get some semblance of a trade to go be a starting quarterback. But how I look at this too, and the relationship between Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr. is very, very strong. Michael Penix Jr. has spoken incredibly highly of Kirk from a mentorship standpoint, from someone that has taken him under his wing. And Kirk Cousins has made it very clear. If I'm a member of this team, I'm going to do whatever I can, to help them win and be a good teammate and be a good guy in the locker room, but make sure Michael Penix Jr. is taken care of. Kirk Cousins knows he's not going to win a starting job in Atlanta. So while he's here, and this is an audition too. Do you want to bring Kirk into a situation back to Minnesota if J.J. McCarthy isn't healthy enough to get going, or in some of these other places? You're looking at Kirk right now going, okay, is this going to be dramatic? Is this what it's going to always be? Is he going to be talking? And no, he hasn't to this point. So the dynamic is really good. And the other thing too is you're allocating millions of dollars to your quarterback room. It just so happens you're not paying your starting quarterback as much as your backup quarterback, but the money that you would normally have allocated to, a quarterback, your three quarterbacks in the room, it's the same. It doesn't really change. It's just a matter of you're paying your backup quarterback a lot more money for this year than you are your starting quarterback.
Yeah, that's honestly wild, but I get it. I have a lot of connections to the Atlanta Falcons, so they may be kind of like my backup team this year because between Leonard Floyd, Darnell Mooney, a Jag favorite, and Jamal Agnew, Xavier Watts, my favorite draft pick, by the way, in the NFL draft. Yeah. Oh, also, my backup dynasty football quarterback is Michael Penix. So I have a lot of connections to the Falcons this year, but we talked yesterday, Luke, about the top wide receiver groups in the NFL and how those kind of shake out and how we would rank them. And none of us yesterday said the Atlanta Falcons, and I feel like maybe we should have with Drake London, Mooney, Pitts, and Bijan. Do you feel like they're not being talked about enough, that pass catching group?
I think it's one of those where you see the potential of it. And when I say the potential, it's the 3-game sample size you had at the end of the year with Michael Penix Jr. I personally, right at this point, eliminate Kyle Pitts from that.
Okay.
Kyle Pitts outside of 2021, and it's not a shot at him, but just outside of 2021, his rookie season, where he gets close to Mike Ditka's record, and then another Bear reference, Taylor, when he gets close to it, everyone's thinking, okay, he's going to take the next step, and it just hasn't materialized. So thinking that's going to be duplicated here now in year 5 when they haven't picked up his option, to me, it's just you cannot bank on him being an elite pass-catching tight end. He can make plays, but it's just not the dependability's there. The number that stuck out to me, really, when it was Michael Penix Jr., was he completed 63% of his passes 20 yards down the field or longer. 11% of his completed passes were 20 yards or longer. The only quarterbacks that had more than that, I believe, were Lamar Jackson, and it's either Brock Purdy or Josh Allen. But in 3 games, his percentage of downfield throws was through the roof. And that is not this is a schematic matchup. That's what they want to do with him. He pushed the ball downfield. You saw it at Washington, and now you're seeing it in Atlanta. And he does have the personnel to do that with. I thought Darnell Mooney was wildly underrated last year through the first 10 weeks of the season.
Same.
It sort of fell off, as the team did. But this is a room right now that does have a lot of skill. Bijan has taken it upon himself to be more of a threat out of the backfield. And you've seen that he's going to be the Swiss Army knife. And it's just a matter of the production you get out of those 2 guys. And it's going to open, and when I say 2 guys, I mean Mooney and London on the outside. And I think it opens everything else up. Because I think for the last 2 years, they've had to play off of Bijan Robinson. Now I think you're looking at you're playing off your 2 vertical threats on the outside, and that's going to open a lot more up for what Zach Robinson, as an OC, truly wants to do.
Are you surprised then that they didn't do a little more in the tight end room this offseason?
That's a great question. That really is. I don't know. I think they're just still banking on it's going to work.
Yeah.
And where one of the things that we saw last year, particularly with Kirk Cousins, his year in Minnesota, I believe it was 2022, he led the NFL in play-action pass attempts. And it was a lot of moving outside the pocket, which Matt Ryan could do a lot of times, and that's where he hit Kyle Pitts. There was very, very little of that last year with Kirk Cousins, based on the mobility issues, based on the age, based on what they were asking him to do. Michael Penix Jr., they feel much more comfortable about that, getting him on the outside, moving the pocket, and that's where I think you see a lot more attempts coming Kyle Pitts' way. Now, I go back to what I said a few minutes ago. I would not bank on it because the potential and the production just have not matched these last couple of years, but I think there is more optimism that Kyle Pitts will be used effectively, and then we'll go from there. But there have been, rumors of, deals and everything for Pitts over the years. But I think this is kind of the last-ditch effort. So I think they're confident that they can get it done with him, but I think it's just more of a one-year thing.
Let's not forget, Felipe Franks is in that tight
I was
end
just
room.
looking at that.
It's listen.
Former Red Sox, Felipe Franks.
Yes, but listen, the Gators, you're all. It's going to be fine if you, for whatever the reason, if you're out there in Hooligan Nation and you're a Gator who roots for the Falcons, you're going to be fine whether Kyle Pitts is there or not. Let's touch them all on the Checkmate Coatings hotline with Luke Hetrick and pivot to the association. Luke, while you are currently sports reporting up there in the ATL, you did spend.
By the way, also Emory Jones is on their roster.
Oh yes, that's right. They really do have nothing but Gators in that quarterback room.
That's LaGrange, Georgia native.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
We got some Southeast Georgia Heeligans. There you go. You've got that connection, even if you don't root for Florida. And another former Gator that is on the Falcons roster. To the NBA, you previously covered the Orlando Magic for 5 years. Still very close with lots of folks in that organization. The Desmond Bane trade. Give it to us in NFL terms. Give it to us in MLB terms. Was this a trade that, in your estimation, Luke, the Magic gave up too much or gave up just the right amount to add a 3-and-D wing via I don't want to say pro free agency because it was a trade, but via a trade as opposed to the NBA draft?
They gave up what they needed for the perfect piece for them. They gave up what they had to do. And you want to say their future? Well, yes, this is how Magic fans have operated the last handful of years. It's always been about building for the future, building for. With Shaq and Dwight, if you're not winning or you're not doing what you can to win a championship, they're going to be gone. And you got a rising superstar, if you don't think he already is one, in your organization in Paolo Banchero. You have another all-star caliber player in Franz Wagner. The time is now. Those guys, Paolo's going to get his rookie max extension coming here in the next few weeks. The time is now. So what the 16th pick in this draft, the first-round pick in 2028, that's not doing anything to help you. And you look at other teams that have made these trades, these type of trades. Indiana did it with Pascal Siakam. Conference finals, NBA finals last 2 years. Minnesota does it with Rudy Gobert, 4 first-round picks. And you could say what you want about Rudy Gobert, but he's been an integral piece to a team that's made back-to-back Western Conference finals. I'm trying to think who else. There was another example in there. But the people that want to point to Luka Doncic and like, oh, look, this is what – that is an outlier that shouldn't have happened. That is not normal business behavior for a trade in the NBA. The Magic went out and got a guy that is a 3-and-D wing, like you said, but he's much more than that. Yes, he's one of the best shooters in the NBA, a 40, 50, 90 guy. But more than anything, he can create his own offense. And he has flourished throughout his career when Ja Morant is not in the lineup in Memphis. Look at those splits. I mean, he oftentimes has a lot better numbers and is a more efficient player without Ja Morant. And what you saw last year with this Magic team, your 3 core pieces, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, played a total of 6 games together. And what they went to do is making the deal with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope a year ago, bring him in on 3 years, $66 million. That was the guy that was going to be the prototypical 3-and-D. Well, when all of your playmakers are out of the lineup and don't play, it's really hard for a spot-up three-point shooter who doesn't typically create his own offense to get into a rhythm. So now you have a guy that you can say, go create our own offense. Go get it. Jalen Suggs has been injury-prone. Anthony Black is continuing his development. He was great in the playoffs. Is he a dependable point guard moving forward? Lose Cole Anthony. You cut ties with Gary Harris. Maybe they bring him back on a vet minimum. But now you have a playmaker in the backcourt that is dependable, and that's something which they have needed for a long time. I think it's the perfect move. I don't think they're done making moves. I think it puts them in a position to win a series or 2 in the playoffs. I think they're going to need to make another move at some point, but I love what they did. And they're taking care of their star pieces, giving them guys to say, we believe in you, we're investing in you. This is a move we think can really elevate us into that championship conversation.
Probably hypocritical of a Jacksonville sports radio host to say, oh, well, people don't know Desmond Bane because he plays in Memphis, ha, 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 a smaller market. Hey, listen, there's a lot of people who don't realize what some folks here in Duval are doing, Taylor Dahl.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Real quick, Luke, on the other side of that, is Ja Morant starting on the Grizzlies when the season starts?
Yeah, I would believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. I think that was a move for Memphis where just because you got rid of Desmond Bane does not mean that they're stripping it down. And I think that's the natural reaction to it. And look, I get that there's some credence to it with some things that have happened with Ja, but this was one of those where you were paying all these guys a lot of money. Jaren Jackson Jr. is due a payday. That's a guy that's won Defensive Player of the Year, a guy that they feel very comfortable with moving forward. And this is not a rebuild. It's not strip it down. It's retool. they feel very confident in Jalen Wells in Memphis being that guy that can step in for Desmond Bain. So I think this was just, let's get smart about our money. Let's reallocate some of our resources. I think Memphis probably takes a couple of those picks and puts them towards another deal moving forward. So I don't think they're just going to be sitting there for their future waiting on 26, 28, 30, and all these unprotected firsts. They're going to be active as well. But it's going to be built around Ja Morant, because when you're in a market like Memphis and you have a star, you do whatever you can, even as, problematic as Ja has been at times and inconsistent and, not being able to be dependent. You have a star player, and you have to wring the towel out with them and maximize every opportunity you can. Memphis is certainly doing that. Atlanta's doing that with Trae Young. So I think Ja Morant's going to be there moving forward until the day he says, I'm out. Get me out of here.
Minus workshopping ideas for my wedding. I think we covered all of our bases somehow, some way in this nearly 20-minute wide-ranging conversation on this Feel Good Friendship Friday on Helmets and Heels.
How much time do we have?
A minute. Go ahead.
Okay. Band or DJ?
Band as of right now, potentially.
Okay. You have DJ capabilities?
I do. And I've already told my mother I may have DJ Washburn come down from Ithaca as the backup plan.
Okay. Do you have a First Dance song?
Ooh, yes.
Are you allowed to share it?
I won't share it on air. I will keep that private, but yes.
What color dress?
Come on! I gotta wear white.
I'm sorry. What color bridesmaid's dress?
Oh, well, I'm not gonna actually do a bridal party, just family.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry. I know you really wanted to wear a dress there, Luke.
It's 2025.
All right, 20 seconds. What other questions are we workshopping?
Oh, okay. Bachelor party, bachelorette party. Do we have destinations?
Yes, Vegas for Bachelor. San Diego is the front runner for Bachelorette. Which one are you coming to? Probably St. Pete. St. Pete would be the local option.
They're close. I can swing both those.
Yeah, I think you could do both. All right.
Work.
We gotta
Congratulations.
Thank you. We gotta let you go. He is the one and only Luke Hetrick. You can catch him at WSB TV up in Atlanta and find him on X at LH Sports TV. Appreciate you, friend, brother, always on call here on Helmets and Heels.
Ma'am, heels, helmets, Hetrick forever.
Ma'am. The one and only Luke Hetrick. We appreciate him hopping on with us. A new friend for Taylor and I here on Helmets and Heels going to join us next. Kristen Peak of Hoops HQ. Let's keep the basketball conversation going. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz.
1010XL. Lee and Kate's Glass.
Friday on Helmets and Heels.
Ready to add some value to your day? The everyday deals at Sonny's have got you covered. Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, all you can eat ribs for $19.99, and our new loaded barbecue potato for $11. Available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Here, why does Northeast Florida buy from Arlington Toyota? Because Arlington is the place to go for big selection. I'm talking over 800 vehicles, folks, one location, and everyday low prices. Over 350 SUVs, over 175 trucks, over 275 cars. And if that's not enough, there's even more on the way. Plus, 60-day exchange. You've heard me talk about it. Let this sink in. You buy it from Arlington, take it home, drive it around for 60 days. And if you decide it's not right for you, you just come on back to Arlington and exchange it for another one. You even get Arlington's lifetime warranty with your new Toyota purchase. Why buy from Arlington? Because right now you can get financing as low as 0% on select new Toyota models. 0%. Now you know why Northeast Florida buys from Arlington Toyota. Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hi, I'm Karen, owner of Clay Solar Installation Partners, your local women-owned solar company. At Clay Solar, we're more than just panels and power. We're about people. We make the switch to clean energy simple, stress-free, and built to last. If you've had a bad experience with solar in the past, we can help. We specialize in dependable solutions and top-notch customer service, so you can finally enjoy the savings and sustainability you deserve. Schedule your free consultation at claysolar.com.
Home is where your
your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
1010XL is a proud supporter of this year's Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament, the largest fundraiser for marine charities. To join the fun July 10th through 19th at the Jim King Park and Boat Ramp, go to kingfishtournament.com.
Need the right tools for the job without the full-time price tag? Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach is what you need when you need it. From heavy machinery for commercial projects to weekend projects at the house, we've got you covered. We've been serving Jacks for 50 years. Visit Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach, just behind Aqua East Surf Shop, or call today. We also have event rentals too. Tucker Equipment Rentals. Tools you need without the price tag of purchasing.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
Yo, ET here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and nonstop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Hey, Hickett here for my friends at Zero Res. Gang, vacuuming is not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and lifespan of your carpet, period. Do not, let me repeat, do not leave deep cleaning to yourself, but do-it-yourself dirt-attracting carpet soaking machines. No, no, no. Call on the cleaning freaks from Zero Res. Big summer savings. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take 20% off air duct cleaning as well. Call them, 904-287-5727, and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance as the Jacksonville Jaguars get ready for their 2025 football season with a full capacity of 60,000 plus fans. Everbank Stadium partners will be hiring for more than 1,000 part-time positions at a job fair on June 24th. The event will take place from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. Organizations participating include the ASM Global Jacksonville, Safe Management, Delaware North, Citywide, and Fanatics. To learn more about the event and discover open employment opportunities, view the event webpage at jaguars.com/GST careers. Right now, 89 degrees at 102. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
1 o'clock hour is here, and so is our next guest, Kristen Peak of Hoops HQ, kind enough to join us here on Helmets and Heels. Kristen, thanks so much for hopping on with us.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you've been out there covering the next generation of potential superstars we could see in the NBA Finals. We'll get to that here in just a second. But first, your takeaways following the Pacers' dominant victory in Game 6 of the NBA Finals last night and our first Game 7 in the Finals since 2016 this upcoming Sunday.
What a series. I don't want to hear about small market teams and how it's not, good basketball. It has been incredible, and I love just the back and forth. I thought for sure that OKC was going to march into Indianapolis and take that game, and, they just got smacked in the mouth. And I love the way Tyrese Halliburton played. Ryan Nembhard, he is just the steal. I mean, we're looking at the NBA draft next week, and teams are always looking for a steal of a player, and Ryan Nembhard has been absolutely incredible. Or is it Andrew? Andrew Nembhard? They're brothers. Andrew, sorry, right?
The one who played at Florida, they're all Canadian, but they all played at Gonzaga too. But yes, the one who started his career here at UF.
Yes, absolutely. Andrew Nembhard has been incredible. So it's just been so fun to watch, and I'm excited for Game 7.
Yeah, Kristen, when we've had so many conversations in the beginning of those small market teams, and I said in the beginning, if this goes to a 7, it's not going to matter. A 6 or a 7. If it goes to a Game 6 or 7, it's not going to matter that it's small market teams. And I feel like there's been so many other storylines throughout the postseason in general, but this series that have kind of upped some things. And then now we've had the additions of some other ones recently, TJ McConnell, and how he's been able to kind of step up especially when Tyrese Halliburton got beat up this last a couple games ago, and then now last night we saw him play a big role in that, playing like 24 minutes in that game. But what have you seen out of him, and just what the Pacers have done when we talk about that depth? That was the storyline, being able to use that, and especially last night.
I love the cutaways to TJ's dad and grandpa. Yes. That has been maybe the most fun part of the series. But he's one of those players where and I like that he's shining in the finals moment, because I'm here in Colorado Springs for the U19 USA basketball trials, and there's players that are noticing his role on a championship caliber team. And they're saying, look, I watch Anthony Edwards, I watch Tyrese Halliburton, but I'm also watching a lot of TJ McCollum because of how he just impacts winning in such a productive way. Like, he's so cool, calm, collective. You can see the confidence of his teammates and the way they get him the ball. He's so good at getting to his spots and cutting off the ball very well. So just been really, really surprised by him in the series as well.
And he is proof that you can go undrafted. You can be drafted in the second round, and you can find your way in the association. You can find Kristen's work on X at Kristen with a Y, Krysten, Peak, Peek, over on the Twitter machine. Let's get it to the NBA draft. Like you said, you are at USA basketball trials for the under-19 team. I probably will sneak in a question about AJ Debinsa, the number 1 overall player in the recruiting class of 2025. But let's look to next week's NBA draft. Cooper Flagg off the top. I think that's kind of obvious. I think the number 2 pick at this juncture is also pretty obvious. But walk us through how you anticipate the lottery falling and how it perhaps could affect the somewhat local Orlando Magic selection a little bit later in that first round.
With, Cooper's going to be number 1. He's going to go to the Dallas Mavericks. I was actually at the draft lottery on a FaceTime call with Mark Cuban, and he said, please tell Cooper Flagg we are not trading the draft pick. We are drafting him. We're so excited. I was like, okay. So he'll be the first off the board. Dylan Harper will be the second player picked. I know that there's been talks of shopping around that pick because it's pretty crowded in the backcourt in San Antonio. But also, if I know Brian Wright, the general manager, the way I think I do, I don't think he would pass up on a player that is projected to be a little bit of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Cade Cunningham. So Dylan Harper will be the second pick. Where it's getting a little dicey is now we got the drama with Ace Bailey. He's refusing to work out for teams. He canceled his workout with the 76ers, who have the number 3 pick. And I think what his camp is trying to do is to get him in a better situation, maybe all the way to 6 in Washington Wizards have the 6th pick, maybe 7 with the New Orleans Pelicans. So 3 is where, we could see VJ Edgecombe go, the Baylor guard at number 3, or even Trey Johnson or Con Knippel, Cooper Flagg's teammate at Duke.
It's funny because just thinking about that, the connection and how closely that's related to how the NFL draft went at the top this year, because number one was you knew it was going to be Cam Ward and you knew Cam Ward was going to the Titans, and you knew Travis Hunter was next. Jack traded up to get Travis Hunter. And then at number 3, it was kind of wild of where there was several names that were kind of in the mix of that, what could go number 3. So it's fun to kind of pay attention to that and the links between the two. But any other, when it comes to trade rumors, there's a lot that have been kind of loosely floating around. But Bulls, Nets, Bucks, a few of the teams that I've heard in the mix of possible and draft day trades.
The Giannis of it all, too.
Yeah, like what are you hearing out of in that realm?
The Bucks had trouble getting players to come in for individual workouts because the agents were saying we don't know what the situation is going to be with Giannis. So he made their pre-draft process a little bit of a struggle. And you look at Brooklyn Nets, they've got 4 first-round picks. I don't know if they're going to keep all 4 or try to package and make a move for a bigger player or move up or jump up the draft board. So there's someone to keep an eye on, especially in this draft and next draft. But I want chaos. I want trades. And every year, right around this time, we start hearing, oh yeah, it's going to be trades and this and this, and this team's going to move up. This team really likes this. And then draft night, it just ends up being chalk. So I'm not going to get my hopes up, but this is the year. This year and next year is the year that a lot of teams have circled and said, no, there's talent at 1 through 8 in this year's draft. There's talent from 1 through 6 in next year's draft. And so they're trying to position themselves in a favorable spot to get one of those players.
Kristen Peak of Hoops HQ, our guest on the Checkmate Coatings hotline. And Kristen, as we get ready to wrap with you, of course, the name that certainly everyone here in Gator Country is discussing is the one and only Walter Clayton Jr., the most outstanding player of the Final Four. Does he factor into that top 8 players who undisputed number picks 1 through 8? You are getting a talented player. Does he factor into the lottery in your estimation? Or to bring this conversation full circle, is he a guy like Andrew Nembhard, who maybe we see go later in the draft, but finds his way in the association?
I think, from what I've heard from around the league is that he's been working out great for teams. And as we knew he would, I mean, we saw him march through the NCAA tournament all the way to a national title, right? I think where we're going to see him maybe not be in that top 10 slot is because of his size. And also, he's a little bit older. So there's 2 things that teams value in the top half of the lottery, and that's youth and versatility and length and upside. And so for Walter, yes, he is, I think, one of the top point guards in this draft class. I could see him go anywhere from 13 to 20. The fact that he was in that second batch of green room invites kind of translates that way, and in terms of, because it's the teams that vote on the players that are getting green room invites. So the fact that he's had a really good pre-draft and has plenty of film for teams to go back and kind of scout and see how they would fit into a certain situation, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people on draft night.
Yeah, Kristen, obviously being down here being the home of the Gators, we talked a whole lot of Walter Clayton, so it was fun to see the way that March Madness kind of shook out and seeing everybody start to talk about Walter Clayton because he's incredible. He's such a fun player to watch. Final one before we let you go, going back real quick to this Game 7. I noticed something earlier, and outside of Game 1, the games that SGA had 30-plus points, they won. The games he didn't, they lost. So there seems there'll be a little correlation there, but what are your expectations of how Game 7 may shake out?
I think OKC is going to win, and they've been one of the best teams all season long, so I kind of want to see it happen. And also, just selfishly, I covered so many of those players when they were in high school and going through the draft process, so I would love to see them, bring a championship home. But then again, on the other side, Indiana, like they're that pesky kid that just won't stop tapping your shoulder. They're just like, no, I'm here.
Look at me.
And the way that we saw them respond in Game 6, I mean, they've got the momentum going back on the road to OKC. But it's going to be ridiculous atmosphere, and everyone loves Game 7.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what we need to refer to Tyrese Halliburton as opposed to corny. He's the pesky kid. I like that, Kristen. I think we're going to use that. But as we let you go, let the folks know where they can find your work. And again, you are out in Colorado Springs at USA Basketball Trials. AJ DeBansa, the #1 player in the class of 2025, is out there. Did BYU give enough money to him? Or do they need to give him more money now?
I will say this. He is numero uno. He will be the #1 player off the board next year. I had a chance. I wrote a story. It's going to be live today. I sat down with him for about 10 minutes, but he is the real deal. He is about a 6'9", 6'10" shooting guard. And the way he's going to be able to play in spacing under an NBA-style offense that Kevin Young has at BYU, that place is going to be rocking next year. I'm really excited for him.
Awesome. Well, Kristen, you are awesome. We really appreciate you joining us here on this Feel Good Friday on Helmets and Heels. Let's do it again sometime.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good one.
And again, you can find her, Kristen, with a Y Peak on X. All right. Here he comes, ready or not. Cole Thompson of SEC Unfiltered will be unfiltered when we return on Helmets and Heels.
He's 1010XL's best offensive lineman. Whoa. Sorry, 71. For real? Leon Searcy. He's just getting his game back. Afternoons 2 to 4.
Tell me they got that in slow motion.
On 1010XL. You're looking through a Lee and Kate's Glass Friday on Helmets and Heels.
As a contractor, finding reliable subcontractors is key to project success. Prosser here. Guys, that's where Lloyd's Heating and Air shines. Not just your mechanical HVAC expert, but your partner, understanding every facet of construction to keep your project on track. Lloyd's will spot issues early before they cause delays. If you're a contractor with a need for reliability, visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Mia here for Closets by Design. It's been a few months since they built my custom closet. You know how much I love it. My whole family is obsessed. So with summer here, why not finally create that custom garage workspace you want? Think tool storage, workbenches, flooring, a place for everything. Closets by Design is more than just bedroom closets, folks. Call to schedule your free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. Visit closetsbydesign.com and hurry because this offer expires on June 29th.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is poured at Southern Coast Seafood, now open Mondays. Enjoy craft for $12.99 a pound on Tuesdays. Drink Brackish Wednesdays with $1 oyster on the half shell. Brackish Vodka is the first clean craft vodka made right here in Jacksonville for whatever your sport is. If your sport is crab at Southern Coast, your vodka is Brackish. Southern Coast Seafood, now open Mondays. Brackish Vodka, proud partner of the Jaguars.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
The 2025 season schedule has dropped, and single game tickets are on sale now. Be at the bank to watch Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jaguars take on the biggest names in the NFL. Don't miss your favorite matchup and secure your tickets now by visiting Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. See you this fall, Jags fans.
Yes, sir. That's the best decision.
I love it.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Millard Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Millard Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Millard Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Millard Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Joint replacement surgery is always a tough decision, but relief from chronic pain may be just around the corner. Dr. George Barber here, and there's a lot to consider to make sure you get the proper diagnosis and best path back to the range of motion and mobility you had. Age, lifestyle, and overall health all play a part. Let the team at Barrier Orthopedics give you a full analysis to help you make the best decision. Log on to barrierorthopedics.com or call the office to make an appointment. With offices across Jacksonville and ready to help you feel good again, we'll get you back on the road to recovery at Barrier Orthopedics.
You can't go inside your home team's locker room, so Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline goes there for you.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3,
Hayes Carline here. Find my blog at 1010XL.com.
Brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing, where quality and experience count.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
It's the event everyone waits for. Now at Beard's Diamonds. Buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. Now for a limited time, when you buy his wedding band, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. Save up to $10,000. Are you about to get married or been married for years thinking it's time for an upgrade? There's nothing that symbolizes your love more than the wedding band. Beard's has hundreds and hundreds of bands from top designers in white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, titanium, platinum, plain bands, channel set bands, pave set, eternity bands. And for men, masculine bands, wide, modern, with and without diamonds, hammered, brushed, engraved, lots of colors. Come to Beard's now and find the wedding band that reflects your style and your personality. Buy one, get the second one free. The big box corporate jewelry stores can't or won't do this, but Beard's can. And it's happening now through June 23rd. Buy one wedding band, get the second one free. Don't miss this opportunity to celebrate your eternal love with the eternal symbol, Beard's Diamonds, at St. John's Town Center.
Got a leaky faucet? AC blowing hot air? No worries. Duck Rooter has your back. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, AC, and a whole lot of quacking good service.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Here's the way that I describe Graham Mertz to people. It's like mashed potatoes. Nobody hates mashed potatoes. Nobody considers it to be like the best thing out there.
Did you just compare Graham Mertz to mashed potatoes? Because I love mashed potatoes. This is fantastic content for me.
He is mashed potatoes. Nobody hates him. Nobody loves him. He's just kind of there, and you accept him for who he is.
The take that will never die here at 1010XL on Helmets and Heels. We're joined now by Cole Thompson, our good friend, their college football host for SEC Unfiltered. Also now part of Sports Talk 90, covering Houston sports and obviously the Texans wire. So we'll get to a little bit of that. But Cole, as usual, thanks for joining us.
You know, I'm glad that you were the one to answer the call first because I have to be the one to congratulate you.
Oh.
I do. I mean, congratulations, Taylor. I'm beyond upset. I am. It's so frustrating that the Chicago Cubs really decided to go out and make this trade. I'm shocked that you haven't talked about it on the air just yet.
Are we talking about a Pete Crow Armstrong?
No, you didn't hear. You guys got Zach Gallen.
No, I didn't. I did not.
Yeah, you just got Zach Gallen. Yeah, Kevin Alcantara and Jefferson Rojas went back to Arizona.
Wow, I missed all of this. So you're breaking news for me.
It's crazy. Like the Cubs actually doing.
Are they
smart
doing?
things.
Did we bet on this, or did we just go back and forth of how it may or may not look? I can't remember.
No, I just told you that the Cubs are going to be a terrible franchise, and look at them. They just traded for Zach Gallen.
Yeah, I did not see that.
You're seeing what Passon's tweeting out, aren't you?
Yeah. We will see. They still have to get an agreement done with PCA. Kyle Tucker probably isn't going to happen. I'm kind of already saying my early goodbyes on that one, but hopefully they surprise me. But
Taylor, pull up Jeff Passon's Twitter. The Cubs haven't made a trade.
Oh, he's messing with me.
Yes.
Of course I am. The Cubs are never going to do anything smart in life.
I was like, I haven't seen anything, and normally my friends would go nuts.
It's the Chicago Cubs. They traded away one of their best prospects to go land Kyle Tucker, and they haven't even come to an agreement with him. They're always going to be the flubs. They're always going to be the laughing stock. I'm very happy. Hey, at least we're good on the
You're
same
a White Sox fan. You have no right to speak on baseball, Cole Thompson.
Jerry Rice started getting rid of the team. He is moving on in society. Life is good, and that's it.
Oh, Cole, let's get to some college football because I've seen some hot takes for you recently all over the place. But I want to talk about some comments that I had one of my Taylor's tangents on earlier in the week. Some of Diego Pavia made a lot of stuff. Made several comments about the Big Ten and
he's
how
on his victory tour.
Yeah, he's doing his thing right now about Tennessee, all sorts of things. So give me your thoughts on Diego Pavia and also just in general him kind of throwing some shade at the Big Ten.
All right, well, number one, I love Diego Pavia. The moxie, the charisma, the swagger, the way he carries himself, the way that he bet on himself to play at a junior college, to then go to New Mexico State, to take the soul of Hugh Freeze and defeat him at Liberty and then carry that on over to Auburn. I mean, Diego Pavia is what you want on your roster. But have you ever seen the meme of the guy celebrating and he's dousing himself in champagne and he's given the double bird and he's sitting in ninth place? That's like the equivalent of Diego Pavia in the grand scheme of Vanderbilt football and the SEC going into 2025. Like, have your cool parade. You beat the number one team in the country, but you got to back it up this year. Everybody has you circled as a roster that is certainly good enough to be competitive. But if you do not pull off another miracle, if you do not play your best version, you become a walking meme. And that's kind of what Pavia is doing right now. You're allowed to take the victory lap. But when the lights are at their brightest on Saturday and you got to go play against Auburn and you got to go to Tuscaloosa, a team that I can tell you, I've spoken to several people on the staff, they have circled that Vanderbilt game in big, bright red penmanship. They want that win more than I think they want to beat Auburn this year. You have got to deliver on that sense. Now, for the Big Ten standpoint, Taylor, you know who are the hosts of Busted with the Boys. They're two former Big Ten players who are very much too big for their britches. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but for Will Compton, why don't you sit this one out until we get to a 10-win season in Lincoln, Nebraska? When you get to that level, then we can start having a little bit of banter back and forth with Diego Pavia, who probably would have been a better quarterback last season for your team and certainly would have been a better quarterback than what you had last season in Michigan. That being said, he's a little out of left field. I like the Big Ten quarterbacks this year. Mm-hmm. I'm very high on Dante Moore going in with Will Stein's offense. Mm-hmm. I think Damon Williams is going to be the breakout player in college football. I think him and Jed Fish are two of the more insightful tandems that not enough people are paying attention to. Luke Altmaier is a what you see is what you get to have a quarterback, but that's not an insult for what he did last season down in Champaign. And I think Julian's saying when you have two top 10 wide receivers and arguably a top 5 tight end and Max Clare coming on in, you're going to set records. Every single one of those teams would probably take their current quarterback right now over Diego Pavia. But if you want to go to Rutgers and maybe lead them to a 10-win season, by all means. I think that Greg Schiano would love to have you on the staff in Piscataway.
That's the Big Ten, Cole. Mm-hmm. So many have said this is the most unprecedented college football season in history because there is no clear front runner. You just gave us a couple of names to watch for. Mm-hmm. Who is a player who I don't want to say we should be placing way too early Heisman bets because outside of perhaps Travis Hunter and Ashton Genty last year, it's largely become a quarterback award. But I'm curious, who is a player, who is a team that this June the 20th, you say not enough people are talking about and they will be talking about this player or team in 6 months' time?
Okay, I'll give you one player. I'll give you two teams. The player that I think we need to be talking more about is Ryan Wingo at the University of Texas. He is going to be a breakout star. And the problem is when you're sharing the spotlight with guys like Matthew Golden and Isaiah Bond, and then you throw in a couple other names that were on the roster, you kind of get lost in translation. But you talk to people down in Austin. They truly believe that if he would have been a fixture of the passing attack and they would have been missing one of their star receivers, you would have seen him put up very similar numbers to Cam Coleman, to Ryan Williams. Definitely not Jeremiah Smith, but certainly one of the better up-and-coming rising stars. He's going to be the go-to guy this year. He's already built a great rapport with Arch Manning. One thing that I consistently heard throughout the entirety of the 2024 offseason, 2023 offseason was Wingo and Arch are spending ample time together because they know that when 2025 arrives, it's their team. They are ready to take control. And so I truly believe that he's going to put up massive numbers in Austin this year, especially with that schedule. The two teams
I already mentioned Washington. I'm going to continue to mention Washington. Their schedule is going to give them opportunities to prove on the national stage with Jed Fish, with a top 10 running back in Jonah Coleman, with one of the better wide receivers in Denzel Boston, and I think a very qualified defensive coordinator hire in Ryan Walters from Purdue coming on in to take over. I think that's going to be a massive win for them. They play Illinois. They get Ohio State early on. That's a trap game for the Buckeyes because it's going to be a West Coast game. They feel like that's going to be an early kick, so it may be a midday kick for what you would think of Columbus. And who knows what we're going to see from Julian Sain at that point. But the team that I am most high on that is not getting enough respect, it's Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has so much returning talent on the offensive side. They got a great offensive line going into this year. 4 starters are back. Their defensive line is stacked to the brim. And while they did lose Tyler Santucci, Blake Gideon was one of the more respected defensive back coaches in college football last year. So I think that he's going to have a ton of returning production that will give him the advantages to build a good rapport. I like what you have also with the 2 wide receivers coming on in from FIU. I think that Eric Rivers was a top 3 wide receiver in the transfer portal, over 1,000 yards last season for the Panthers, going to be a really solid player. And Jamal Haynes is one of the better running backs because of that versatility he provides out of the backfield as a receiving threat. He's a no-nonsense, downfield, in-your-throat, punch-you-in-the-face type runner. That's what you want. And then Haynes King's been playing college football. He's getting his MD right now. I mean, he's been around the block for so long. He's got to kind of take over these games. You look at that game matchup against Clemson in week 3. That's at Bobby Dodd Stadium. If they win that game, they can coast all the way until they play in Mercedes-Benz Stadium against Georgia. And that game went to 8 overtimes last year. This is one of Georgia's weaker overall rosters. If they get that win and they make it to Charlotte, guys, they don't even have to win the ACC. I think at that point, with a win over Clemson and a win over Georgia, if they're 10-2, they're going to be in the college football playoff. You got to start paying a little bit more attention to the Yellow Jackets down in Atlanta.
Wow. If we zoom in a little bit on the SEC, Cole, and obviously an Arch Manning, a Lenore Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier, probably DJ Lagway are going to be those quarterbacks that a lot of people are talking about or are already talking about. Are there any other SEC quarterbacks that you like?
I do like Bo Pabula. I think he's going to be a really good fit for the offense that Kirby Moore wants to run out in Missouri. There's something about Missouri just getting quality play from the overall receivers that they added on in. I think that Kevin Coleman coming on in from Mississippi State, really solid player. And then let's go get another promo added on because Taylor Green is Taco Bell.
Oh, here we go.
Is Taco Bell. It depends on what time you get Taco Bell. 2 a.m., you're feeling yourself after the club, it hits different. It's awesome. It's the indulgence of delight in your stomach. That's Taylor Green, year 2 in Bobby Petrino's system. He can throw that football all around the yard like no one's been. He's the silent assassin. But then you have Taco Bell at 2 in the afternoon because there's nothing else open. And, okay, well, the taco's a little stale. The bread, the bottom is a little soggy. Why is the lettuce brown? That's Taylor Green as well. It literally is just nonstop when it comes to the inconsistencies on third down, throwing into double coverage, the inability to read a field and manipulate defensive lines. I'm going to tuck and run, and it's going to lead to a fumble. He is the ultimate version of Taco Bell, and that is the nicest compliment I can give. Drunk at 2 a.m., he is elite. He is a top 5 passer in the SEC. 2 p.m. in the afternoon, where it's the only thing open, and it's in a shady town, unfortunately, you know it's going to lead to a couple of miscues and probably a big blowback on your end.
Yeah, bathroom at the end.
If the Arkansas quarterback is Taco Bell, I don't even want to ask what Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt is. Cole, our time... White Castle. There it is.
I love White Castle.
White Castle, folks. Diego Pavia is White Castle. Taylor Green is Taco Bell. Our time with you is always too short. One Cole Thompson. You, of course, can be found in a variety of places. We will plug those before we let you go. But first, CJ Stroud, you do cover the Texans as well for the Texans Wire. I'm curious your thoughts on the will he practice, will he not practice, will he be ready for training camp notion that you covered over the last month and a half.
I always find it fun when you have to get the major outlets finding content to talk about in the off season, and then they don't ever even give credit to the reporters that were there. Yeah, it's a nothing burger. It's been a nothing burger. It was always a nothing burger. This is when the down period of the NFL season kind of takes control, and you find every little thing to micromanage.
everyone has spoken about the situation. They truly believe that he is caught up to speed when it comes to running Nick Caley's offense. Nick Caley said he wasn't worried about him taking on-field reps. D'Amico Ryan said he wasn't worried about it. CJ called out the media and even said, I just think you guys are bored, which is why you're starting to come up with these shenanigans. So it's like, okay, I mean, if you feel fine, I do believe he's got to be able to be at 90% when you get to training camp. But when you take 52 sacks last season and you're still able to be out of practice and throwing in a minute way, I think that's a massive win in itself. And as long as the new offensive coordinator seems to be content with it, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be pushing back. But the Texans, I will push back on this. They may be the favorites in the AFC South. If Liam Cohen's doing some dirty things down there in Duval County, they may have some competition.
Well, you couple that with that offensive line play, but that is a story for another time. Taco Bell, White Castle. We're going to have you on before SEC Media Days. Am I going to see you in Atlanta in a few weeks, Cole, or unfortunately no?
That's the hope. I'm still waiting.
Good. Okay.
Like, literally call my program director and say, hey, Cole has to be here. Like, we don't care. We'll pay for his hotel room. We'll do all the other things. I just need him to give me really fun fast food chains for all the SEC players that are coming up.
We'll make a TikTok of it. We'll do it live, and it will be as epic as anything that you have ever done with Helmets and Heels.
And if so, can you ask Lenore Sellers, who offered him $9 million?
Well, for starters, it was 2 years. Okay, this is the part of the story that bothers the crap out of me, guys. 2 years, $8 million.
Okay,
but I believe it was Auburn. Personally.
Yeah, so it's similar to the Nico situation.
I believe it was Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, it's similar to the Nico Yamalieva situation. All right, Cole. We're going to have you on again. Don't worry. We will talk to you in a few weeks. You are the man. Thank you for joining us on the Checkmate Coatings Hotline.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
There he goes. The one and only.
Don't text me about the Cubs.
At Mr. Cole Thompson. There are a couple people on the text line who said they almost drove off the road trying to Google. So well done,
I was like,
Cole.
I didn't see that, and my phone would have been going crazy, so nobody must have seen it.
He texted me this morning, and he said, don't say anything.
With her. Oh,
sorry, Taylor. One more segment to go on a feel-good Friendship Friday on Helmets and Heels.
Open it, please.
What's the code? 1010XL. 1010XL. Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Helmets and Heels.
Covered by Lee and Kate's Glass.
New look, same great service. Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal conditions.
Want to support a locally and veteran-owned company? If you need a new AC, we should be your first and only call. Ideal Conditions keeps you cool. Just ask your AC. Call 904-500-COOL or visit idealconditionsjacks.com.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
Idealconditionsjacks.com.
Hey, John, have you seen the exciting 2025 lineup at Randy Marion Cadillac?
They've got the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique. It's a Cadillac lover's dream.
And the best part, over 100 new Cadillacs are in stock and ready for you to drive home today.
Plus, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and experience luxury and performance like never before.
Visit us today at Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
Don't miss out on these incredible vehicles. Your new Cadillac awaits.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Ready to add some value to your day? The everyday deals at Sonny's have got you covered. Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, all you can eat ribs for $19.99, and our new loaded barbecue potato for $11. Available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
Poker fans, ready to ride the waves and win big? Join us at Best Bet St. Augustine for the Summer Splash giveaway. Over $40,000 in prizes are up for grabs, including a 2025 Yamaha Wave Runner. Join us now through August 8th to earn entries into the big giveaways. Every hour of poker play and table game play earns you an entry. The more you play, the more chances to win. Come play and win big at Best Bet St. Augustine. Visit bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, Hicken here, and every Friday I'll help you put together your sports weekend so you know where you want to go and what you want to do. Watch for Musings with the Media Mogul on YouTube and Facebook, locked down by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and nonstop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
It's a battle for the playoffs as your Sharks take on the first-place Steamwheelers. Catch all the action this Saturday, June 21st at 7. Discover the thrill of indoor football. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and full of family fun. Try the new 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700.
Prosser here. Come cheer on the Sharks as they circle a playoff bid. It's Star Wars night presented by HCA Florida Healthcare. Dress up in your favorite costume. Get photos with your favorite Star Wars characters before the game. The first 1,000 kids get a free lightsaber. Join us on the field after the game for a free autograph session and special jersey auction. Tickets start at just $15. Call 904-621-0700. That's 904-621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made. Go Sharks!
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Toe 10XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Our friend Luke Hetrick spanning the wide world of ATL sports. Kristen Peak of Hoops HQ with an NBA draft and NBA Finals preview. Cole Thompson, various food analogies, as well as college football discussion. I think we hit it all on today's Feel Good Friday. One little bit of breaking news, though, in the world of college football. The University of Wisconsin has filed a tampering lawsuit against the University of Miami over former defensive back Xavier Lucas's recruitment. Wisconsin, yes, going out of their way to say that Miami tampered. Wisconsin saying that Miami tampered and then poached a player. This is the new age of NIL. I don't think this is the last of these lawsuits, but it is certainly the first known lawsuit for tampering in college sports. Before we get on out of here, let's see what's bugging Taylor Dahl.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
So I saw this article on The Athletic, and it really got me thinking, because I think we have had a little bit of the conversation of overexposure of things, and is that maybe a part of why we see declines in certain sporting events when it comes to watching time frames, and we talk about, I hear Jeff say it every morning, of just now, the kids now, are they really sitting down and watching a 3-hour full game, or are they going to Twitter to get the highlights and the clips, and TikTok, you have the same exact thing now, and the attention spans, we've talked about that a lot too. But this article was really interesting because it was based around the soccer world, which, if you know me, I'm not up to speed fully with all of this, and I get so confused with all the different clubs and leagues and everything. It gets very confusing. But in this article, they're talking about, is soccer becoming overexposed now? It's pretty much it's a year-round sport now, and they're talking about the Club World Cup is ongoing right now. A year before the World Cup happens in Europe, the Nations League just wrapped up. Women's Euro begins in 2 weeks. The Gold Cup is happening right now too. So there's a lot of soccer going on, and there has been some reports. I guess one of Manchester City's players mentioned a possible players' strike last September, because he said that they were looking at a possible 75-game year for some of these soccer players. And so it really got me thinking, in the sense of, this is why I personally, and as much as I love watching games, and I don't watch a ton of soccer, so not in that aspect. I love that baseball is 162 games, because I have so much baseball, and especially in the down period right now when you feel like there's not really anything else on. I love that. I love that hockey and basketball have 80-plus games, and I love that the NFL, it's started to grow a little bit too, and the playoffs have expanded in college football, so we're getting more of the product. I personally love that, but are we going to get to the point where all of the sports feel just over kind of just too much, oversaturated? Because even, and that's what part of it for me, when we talk about the NFL and going to expanding even to an 18 game, I've been kind of against that, as much as I would love it, as much as I would love another NFL game, because I just love, that's my favorite personally. It sits at the top of any of the sports for me. I would love that, but I do think that it starts taking away the most exciting thing about football is, that from September to December you have that, and then it's playoff time, and it's kind of, you have this whole schedule for your year of, okay, don't talk to me during these few months. And is it going to get to the point where you're like, okay, here's 18 games, and then now the playoffs, there's an extra wild card team, and now NFL's going deep into February. It sounds great, but is it going to take away some of the excitement of getting to the season when you just wrapped up in March with football?
What I think it will do is it will once again ignite, because the world is a flat circle, it will once again ignite the conversation surrounding load management. Because my belief is that when the NFL, because it will go to an 18-game schedule here in the next 5 years,
we'll have 2 bye weeks, and that too is what they're saying.
Right, there will be 2 bye weeks, and I would think rosters, or at the very least practice squads, would be expanded. But even then, I think you will see, whether it be solely because your team has already either been eliminated or has advanced to the postseason, you will see players who are given a game off. They are given a quarter off. And I know that it sounds far-fetched, and the competitor in these professional athletes says, no way. But ultimately, when you start weighing the health of these players, the wear and the tear, beyond a certain player who is hoping to play both ways on offense and defense this upcoming season, I ultimately think that it's going to be the decision of the training staffs and athletic staffs, unless you are to expand rosters to a point where you can rotate players in across the board, a la Ryan Nielsen, but more effectively. I think we're gonna go right back to from having the oversaturated, the season's too long conversation, to we want more games, to, well, now they have to load manage, and now we can't see our favorite players, and I want my money back.
And that's what will suck, because when you as a fan and you buy tickets to a game, you're expecting to see the players that are the starters that are out there. And we have the conversation with the NBA right now. And if you buy a ticket at, whatever month, and then you get to that game and LeBron's not playing that game, like, that sucks. You spent money on that game to see specific players, and the players that you're fans of, and the players that make the plays on the biggest plays on the field. And so if it did get to that late season, you would really have to analyze everything, and you would be kind of having a guessing game of, okay, do I think my team's going to be in it at this point, or do you think they're going to be completely out or whatever? And injuries happen, so there's sometimes already where your favorite player may not be playing at the game that you're going to. But if it gets to that point, it would be unfortunate for fans. And I also think it's not, I keep saying this, that the NFL just kind of is hypocritical in the sense of they preach player safety all the time, and they say certain things. Oh, we can't tackle this way because of player safety, and we can't do this because of player safety, but they'll keep adding on games, and they'll send them across the country to play games where they're having jet lag, and literally to Australia coming up, and that doesn't matter. But for them, like, don't wear the wrong socks. Like, it's just they don't have their priorities set straight, I don't think. And so it was a fascinating article. If you have time, go through and read it, because like I said, it's more so connected to what's going on in soccer, but it really makes you kind of think about what's going on in general around sports, and especially the NFL and college football with the more games being added on both.
571 off the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You sit players and they miss incentive numbers. There will be anarchy.
Yeah. For players, too. I didn't even think about it like
I
that.
think that there will be 571. I would think that there would be wording in the contracts, or at the very least whenever the next CBA comes up. And so, yes, there may be a little bit of a gray area there for a short while, but the next time the CBA is up, I believe it will be negotiated of, I will be allowed to have X amount of games off. I will be given X amount of minutes played, et cetera, much like we're seeing in the NIL world, which is, of course, the Wild Wild West of Jack Pyburn saying, well, I need to play X amount of snaps here, but I need to be playing on the edge. I think you're going to see similar wording, similar conversations at the National Football League level when 18 games is the norm for a schedule. It is of note, of course, that it's not just Taylor's Tangent.
Yes.
There's also something that you can win, folks.
Yes. If you are hungry, we do have lunch to Chick-fil-A. Give us a call at 641-1010. Free lunch for you to Chick-fil-A. Let's say caller number 3.
RJ is standing by. Give him a call. But for now, let's say hello to XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Alrighty, Matt Hayes. We asked our friend Cole Thompson Cole Thompson gave us a player, a team. He gave us 2 teams that no one is talking about right now, but we will be talking about them in 4 or 5 months' time in the college football season. Do you have a player?
Do they have to be on the same team?
They could be the same team and player. It could be,
I'm gonna give you a player. The player's
Okay.
Austin Simmons at Ole Miss.
Okay, like that one. Yep.
The team?
Any conference, anywhere in the country.
I think Florida State. I think Florida State's going to be a lot better than people think. Yeah, I love Castellanos. Love him.
Yeah.
And the combo with him and Gus Malzahn, I think a lot of people are saying will work a lot better than what was going on at Boston
Yeah,
College.
I mean, I've been saying for like a month and a half, I think they're going to scare the hell out of Alabama.
Really?
They may not beat them, but it'll be a fourth quarter game.
What do you think of Alabama's quarterback situation? That's the question now.
Question. That's
That's
the question on everybody's mind.
Right. Well, that's what we said to Cole. I'm like, ultimately, and Taylor asked him, like, name me your, like, off the top of the dome quarterbacks in the SEC that you believe could surprise. But it's like, there's no, outside of Arch, Lagway, Nussmeier, like, who's the other marquee name? Lenoris.
Yeah.
Right.
Lenoris is definitely.
Right. But besides those
and I
four.
named those, and then I said, aside from those.
Alabama and
Marcel
Georgia.
Reed's going to be really good, too.
Yeah, at A&M. Yeah, but Alabama.
He liked the Mizzou guy.
Oh, yeah, he did like the Mizzou quarterback.
Brula.
Yeah.
Brula.
He thinks he's going to be good. Thinks it's a good combination.
Penn State, yeah.
With the OC. But no, I think the fact that we are entering a season in which Alabama and Georgia do not have a quarterback who is a household name is rather fascinating. Nationally.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, Georgia likes Gunnar Stockton. I think they like him in the vein of maybe he can be a Stetson Bennett type, where you're not a win because of him, you're a win with him. Although in Stetson's last year, they were definitely a win because of him team. There's no doubt about that. He played unbelievable in that playoff. I like Florida State. I like what they've done in the portal. I like the way Mike Norvell has owned up this entire offseason was we blew it. We put too much stock into, just picking guys that you would think would be good instead of guys that would fit. Now they've got guys that fit what he wants to do. He's got a really good quarterback. And last year they did not have a good quarterback. They did not have a fit.
No.
I mean, DJU was not.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, all of us saw that. What's so weird is we all saw that.
But the quarterback whisperer, Mike Norvell, did not.
When they signed it, we were all like, what is he doing? And he seemed to be the only guy that was saying, yeah, he's going to be the legit, real deal. And we all were like, no. And then at the end of the day, game 1 against Georgia Tech, we were all like, no. And it went downhill fast, man.
I just remember when he was still at Clemson, and I was like, thank goodness I never have to learn his name because that name is it's too difficult for me. And then when Florida State signed him, I was like, signed him. I guess that's the way we say it now, too. I was like, dang it, now I really do have to learn this guy's name, and I feel like I wasted my time.
Imagine how good that Clemson offensive staff was to get, I think he had 29 touchdown passes.
Honestly, it was wild, yeah. And that year when Trevor was there and Trevor had COVID, they played Notre Dame that game. He played out of his mind. Yeah. And so there were moments where you're like, oh, this guy could be really good, but that is a testament to Clemson and Dabo.
What's coming up on primetime?
We are going to talk a lot of college ball, a lot of Jaguars, of course. We've got a couple interesting little topics to get into as far as college football, too. So
okay.
Just going to throw that tease out there.
No weird Wednesday, just weird college football topics.
You guys like our weird Wednesday?
Love it. The dream segment Leon was talking about.
Come on, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's silly summer season.
That he can jump back into a dream. That's like Batman right there. Seriously.
Like he'll wake up and then can go back and dream. I can do the same thing.
This was Wednesday. He said I can wake up and go right back in. He comes back Thursday and says, oh, yeah, 2 weeks later, I can get back into that.
I can do that, though. But I have weird dreams. I also get sleep paralysis, so I have, funky stuff happening when I dream anyways. But sometimes I'll be dreaming that I'm dreaming, and, in my dream, I'll have sleep paralysis, and I, can't wake myself up. And so it's a very complicated dreaming system I have.
But you can get back into it.
I can, make myself dream
certain things. If you tell me you can get back in, I'm going to be really...
No.
Okay.
Heck no. You're lucky I remember my dream the next morning. Thank you, Matt. Looking forward to Freaky Friday. We'll call it Freaky Friday on XL Primetime. This has been Friendship Friday. Our friends of the program all stopped by. Luke Hetrick, Cole Thompson, and Kristen Peak of Hoops HQ. We appreciate you Heeligans for hanging out with us here on this fine Friday. For Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, for all the friends of the program, I am Mia O'Brien.